This evening we are going on a field trip of sorts. Barrett grew up working on his uncle's farm, and we are taking the kids up to show them what potato harvest is really like. So we're going to take our camera with us and show all of you what potato harvest is really like on a small Idaho farm.
So this tractor here is pulling what we call a crossover. He'll move 4 rows of potatoes and pile them up next to the other potatoes. Now that he's passed, so you can actually hear me, he's taken these 4 rows of potatoes and he's piling them up over here in between 4 other rows that the digger will actually pick up and put into a truck. So this one's the crossover. I never drove one of these. I didn't drive the digger either. I did all the work after harvest, except for during harvest I drove a truck. You like it like that? Mm-hmm. I think they taste nasty that way. This doesn't even do this justice, but this is where they all end up. This is a small portion of them. I'll see if I can show you what it really looks like, but you just can't tell from a video like this. That is, what would you guess? From here to that wall, it's what, 80 feet?
Something like that.
Maybe 60, I would guess 60 feet. That is at least 20 foot high up there, the very peak. And this goes back probably another 80, 90 feet here. This is the small pit. They didn't even fill up the big pit this year. They've got less potatoes than they normally do. But, I mean, there's millions and millions and millions of potatoes on there. Like, just no way to describe how much there are without actually being here to see it.
He can't help himself. He stands by a conveyor belt and he just starts picking.
So this farm was actually my grandpa's farm way back in the day. My uncle took it over. I don't know how long ago that was, but my uncle took it over and has been running it since as long as I can remember. My cousins, I'm sure, will probably take it over from him, but they've got 1,000 acres up here, which seems like a lot. I mean, 1,000 acres is quite a bit. But for a potato farm in Idaho, that's really not a lot. It's pretty small scale. They just run it as a family operation. They don't hire anybody out, just family runs it. Mostly, they're not even doing all potatoes right now. They're doing a lot of hay and grain. But yeah, I started working here when I was 12. I worked until I was actually 24 doing various things on the farm. Most of it revolved around potato harvest, but I did do a lot of moving pipe in the summer. And then when I was older, in my 20s, I worked driving tractor a little bit. But kind of where I got a taste for the farm life, I guess you would say. We're a little bit different operation. This is more of a commercial farm, family-run commercial farm, where we're just homesteading for ourselves. We don't really consider ourselves a farm. So a little bit different style, but yeah, this is where it kind of got in my blood. When I was, gosh, I must have been 14 or 15, my uncle would drop me off to move a line of pipe, and every time he dropped me off, he'd say, "No, I want you to remember, this is why you want to get a good education, so you don't have to do this the rest of your life." And I got a good education, but I just came back to do it some more. So it's what we like to do. It's lots of fun. Kind of wish I could be up here a little bit more. Not my place to be, but I would love to be playing on a farm like this more often. So the digger is what pulls all the potatoes out and piles them into the back of the truck. And then they bring those trucks, haul them back to this, they call it a pit, potato cellar, whatever you want to call it. But this is where they pile the potatoes. Right now they're actually putting them directly from the field into trucks and hauling them to a warehouse. They've got a contract with somebody to haul those away, so they're getting them hauled off right now, so they're not having to store them over the winter, but they will put them in one of these cellars and they will leave that generally over the winter. Sometimes they will pull it out throughout the winter as they sell it off, but they'll just store it there as long as they have to until they can get it sold, get it shipped out. Then they have all these conveyor belts and pilers that pile up the potatoes into these pits. Tons and tons of potatoes go in there.